Garisha's vision was to create a non-transactional environment and to have that social element, but also have a truly free offering when you stay at our hotels.
Hello, my name is Renae Leith-Manos. Welcome to this podcast, Where to From Here, featuring conversations about luxury travel and how it's changing in every pocket of the globe. Today, I'm going to Sydney to interview Wayne Taranto, who is from Ovolo Hotels. He's been working in the luxury hotel industry for over 30 years. And I have to share a story from this fantastic hotel group. I went to Canberra to the Ovolo Hotel there with my twins. They were about 11 years of age, and they have this fantastic scheme where the minibar is free. So you can only imagine my gorgeous children, well, they weren't so gorgeous at the time, were so excited by free lollies, free soft drinks, free everything. And I hate to admit, they were filling up a bag with these soft drinks every day and waiting for the next ones to come. But it certainly, it endeared the hotel to their memory and to mine. And also what I loved is they had a social drink for me. So it wasn't about really getting a free drink. It was about meeting people in the hotel. Because often when you're traveling, particularly alone, or as I was, alone with children, meeting other people can be difficult. But Ovolo are just a revolutionary company in this way. They've really nailed luxury, but they've really nailed sort of reality luxury is what I like to call it, so that everybody who's staying there has a fantastic time. So Wayne, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be part of the podcast. And I must say, I have to travel extensively as part of my job. And, I actually always indulge in the lolly station and all the goodies that we offer here at Ovolo.
I'm sure. But tell us a bit about, Ovolo Hotels for people who may not know the brand. I know you're in Bali, Hong Kong and Australia now.
That's right. Yeah. So we've got a strong presence. We've got 7 hotels here on the East Coast here in Australia. In more recent times, in the last 2 years, we opened Mamaka in Bali, which is right there on Kuta Beach. And we've got 4 properties on Hong Kong Island in Hong Kong. And we've actually got a presence now as far as our head office. So we've got 3 head offices that support the business. And yeah, it's really grown over the last few years, and founded originally in 2010 by our executive chairman and founder, Girish Junjunwala. So he had a real vision to create a leading independent luxury and lifestyle brand. And, the perks that you've just touched on is one of our key kind of unique points of difference compared to other hotels. Not only the kids, but the adults love walking past that lolly station and overindulging. And, the inclusion of, complimentary breakfast. We have what we call a loot bag in our guest rooms where guests can indulge on snacks while they're in the room, and we've got free minibar and the social hour drinks. Yeah, what a great way to meet other guests and meet our managers and leaders in our hotels in a social setting. So Garisha's vision was to create, a non-transactional environment and to have that social element, but also have a truly free offering when you stay at our hotels.
Which is just, so rare these days. I mean, the cost of living is so high, hotels globally are so high that I'm sure now more than ever, people are appreciating that.
Absolutely. They're looking for that unique experience. So, we're fortunate to have great destinations where our hotels are.
Can I just ask you, why so many hotels in Hong Kong? I didn't realise there were so many there.
We've got a head office over there. So that's where Girish, our owner, is based, and we've got a fairly large team. And we saw, Hong Kong Island as a great destination. There's a number of events over there. You've got a lot of corporate business in Hong Kong. So our hotels are well positioned within that market to capitalise on the demand.
Right. And who typically stays at Ovolo? I mean, it's probably a different audience in Hong Kong that you just mentioned, perhaps to the east coast of Australia.
Yeah, it's interesting. Having worked across a number of brands, Ovolo is quite unique in terms of the market that we attract. It's primarily leisure guests. Not all of our properties are in CBD locations. They're kind of city fringe or they're resort destinations. So we have a high proportion of leisure guests, a percentage of those traveling internationally, as well as those within, a 3-hour drive distance. And then you have a portion of entertainment business. So we actually really focus on, production companies, high profile celebrities coming in. into, perform at concerts. For this particular hotel a few years ago, we actually had Ed Sheeran stay here, which was,
Oh, wow.
significant
Was he
profile,
gorgeous?
and he
Is
was
he as gorgeous as
amazing.
he
He's
said?
everything that everyone says. I've actually seen him in concert, and he's just a humble, wonderful man. He introduced himself to the entire team, and he just did an amazing, job while he was here to engage with our staff.
Yeah, amazing. And the hotel that you're sitting in now is on Woolloomooloo Wharf in Sydney. I mean, it's a magnificent location.
It's such a unique location, this Woolloomooloo property. We've got a stunning wharf. A day like today, it's clear blue skies, and there's no better place to be. We've got a heritage building that we're a primary owner in. We've got a number of residents. We've got some stunning restaurants along the waterfront. We've got a wonderful vegan restaurant called Alibi. We've got beautiful conference space. So we've really got everything encapsulated in one location, and that's that little bit of a distance out of the city. So it's a destination in its own right.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell me about that vegan restaurant and about indeed F&B at Ovolo, because a lot of my friends really rate that restaurant. My vegan friends, they love it.
Yeah, we took a position a few years ago, just actually pre-COVID, where we created a promotion called the Year of the Veg. And we wanted to go out and make a statement around, offering, kind of comfort cuisine, humble food, and provide an experience that was unique in a hotel environment. And I think we've very much achieved that. We've got two well-established vegan restaurants, of which one here is based at Woolloomooloo called Alibi. And we also offered a vegetarian experience in some of our other properties in Queensland, and also in Canberra that you mentioned. We've got a wonderful restaurant called Monster. And
Wow.
it's all around creating, we saw it as an opportunity and a niche in the market. We've seen an evolution of vegan and vegetarian diners. And, we're no means forcing anyone to eat that style of food, but we're just creating a different experience. And I think a lot of the guests, I encourage guests to try it if they haven't tried it before, to indulge, because we kind of put a different slant on vegan and vegetarian food. In this particular property, it's very much around plant-based cuisine. When you go to Brisbane, we've got a Tel Aviv-inspired Middle Eastern concept called Zazatar. Melbourne, we've got a restaurant called Lona Misa, which is Spanish-inspired vegan food. So we really do put a different experience and style of cuisine with different flavors from around the world. And I must say, sometimes you forget you're not eating meat if you love protein.
And also your cocktails are amazing. You've got great mixologists. Has that also been a shift in the business to really focus on that at some point?
Definitely. For Ovolo, and I think we're one of the few brands in the lifestyle space that really focus our energy and time on food and beverage. It takes center stage in all of our properties. We do focus a lot of effort. We bring in a lot of expertise to help guide and direct. So we have a few consultants that we engage from a food perspective, and we also leverage off our existing partners and suppliers to, things like cocktails. It's, our restaurants and our bars are designed in a way that it's very conducive to having great cocktails.
I agree.
Other drinks are important, but, cocktails has been a real lever for us, and we've tried to own that cocktail experience in a lot of our venues.
What I loved about where I stayed with my kids in Canberra was that when you actually checked in, you were basically in that F&B space. So you really felt like it's all very connected. And when you come down out of the elevator, you can't really avoid it, which I really like, because it makes you feel, it's very social, it's alive, and you do think, oh, let's have a drink before we go to the restaurant.
That's right. And it's so important. Guests are looking for that level of engagement and that connectivity, and they like at-home experience. So you feel like everything's in close proximity and it's not segregated. And we've designed a number of our hotels where we've got that connection between reception, lobby, and also our restaurant or bar. And it's served us really well over the last few years.
No, it's amazing. And I wanted to ask you personally, I mean, you are, you've been working in luxury so long. You're one of the most respected people in the luxury hotel industry in this country. Why have you chosen to stay predominantly in Australia within your career?
Everybody loves luxury, and I think there's different levels of luxury, but I've always found that, it's the space that I enjoy working in. I love enjoying and providing guests with great experiences and unique experiences, and going the extra mile to keep them happy and satisfied, and ultimately returning. whilst here at Ovolo we don't have an established loyalty program, we consider, when guests return, they're loyal to us. The luxury space has evolved so much in the lead up to COVID and post-COVID during this recovery phase. We've just seen so many great brands and so many great hotels enter the market. And for us, we see that as great competition. It actually enables us and pushes us harder to be even better and improve the overall experience, because that's what guests are looking for. They're paying a premium, but they're looking for those things that what we classify as our perks, like we've touched on, and those inclusions as the value proposition as to why they choose to stay at, an Ovolo hotel.
But it's interesting because a lot of guests that I've had on the show talk about Australia as the most challenging luxury market. Wages here are just so expensive compared to somewhere like, say, Asia. You've got a property in Bali and properties in Hong Kong, where you can afford to have so many more staff on reception, so many more staff in the kitchens and serving, which makes luxury that much easier. You've chosen to stay in Australia where, as I said, it can be very challenging to produce a luxury product in a luxury hotel. How would you counterbalance that? How have you found that in your career?
Yeah, it's been an interesting one. I travel extensively. I've been fortunate to be able to travel through Europe, and I've stayed in some amazing hotels, and also through Asia. And yeah, they've certainly got a luxury of well-traveled and experienced labour force to support their hotels. Here in Australia, it's somewhat more challenging, but it's about opening their eyes, and taking them to other hotels or other restaurants or other bars to experience who's doing it well. And it's not a case of copying, it's just giving them an understanding of what exceptional service looks like. And I think here in Australia, we've come a long way. A lot of our hotels, the brands in the market, it's a very crowded marketplace at the moment, but we're seeing more and more brands that traditionally you would have experienced overseas coming to Australia because they see that there's an opportunity and demand. But that challenge of our labour force will be there, and it will be there for a number of years. But it's about opening their eyes, as I said, and giving them some exposure. It's important exposure if they want to stay in our industry.
No, I totally agree with that. And tell me about Bali. I'll be in Bali in January. Tell me about the property there.
Wonderful properties. We took over from another brand. We had a few false starts as a consequence of COVID, but we finally made it 2 years ago, and there was this one particular asset that Garish, our owner, had his eye on for a number of years. He had put in a few offers, couldn't get it across the line. He was actually traveling there with his family, popped into the asset, loved it so much, and just had a clear vision as to what he would do to recreate this property as far as the rooftop offering, which we now call Kuta Social. So an amazing rooftop, looks out to Kuta Beach, and it's got an open air pool deck. It's got, good inventory of rooms, from standard rooms up to a suite offering, which we classify under our Rockstar Suites, which is an element of Ovolo, which is quite unique. So every property must have a Rockstar. And then we've got beautiful ground floor space. We've just recently opened a day spa. It's got a wonderful restaurant on the first level. And then we've also got a ground floor kind of casual cafe bar, breakfast restaurant available as well. And it's called Mamaka. It's a unique brand to the group, and we've had a lot of interest from owners, developers, and investors wanting to take that brand elsewhere throughout Asia and across the world. So a real success story for us.
Absolutely. And the landscape in Bali's changed so much. I mean, the last sort of 2-3 years, there's so many new hotels, so many renovated hotels, so many new restaurants, and so many people are going their way.
Absolutely. And we've seen, particularly over the last 6 months, the markets that are going into Bali, coming from Australia, New Zealand, we're starting to see that international market come in now that flight capacity is back. And that hotel from the day we opened, had an upward trajectory in terms of occupancy, growing our average room rate. And also, I think because of its positioning, and I was there last November, I haven't been there for quite some time, but just to see the improvements in Bali, all the retailers were opening back up. They've built a beautiful pathway along the beachfront. So, and from a retail point of view, those premium brands are relocating to Bali. There's a beautiful shopping centre within 150 metres of our property with all the brands.
Oh, I know where you are now. That's a great shopping centre.
It's a great one. So it's good. Our hotel's well positioned over there.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's got a really good Zara store, that shopping centre.
I personally visited there, so I know it absolutely exists.
There you go, there you go. But back in Australia, tell us what we can expect from the future of luxury hotels here. What are you seeing the changes are going to be?
Technology will come to the forefront, food and beverage offerings. So I think this market in Australia across all states, we're seeing, a significant shift in concepts and, the use of celebrity chefs and the evolution of food and beverage. So the general public are more prone to come into a hotel for a great food and beverage experience. We're now
Yes.
following the lead of countries like Asia, throughout Asia and Europe, where guests are comfortable in coming into a hotel for a good cocktail or a good food experience. So I think that it will continue to grow and evolve over the next few years. And I think room product, having that effortless experience within the guest rooms. And there's always been comfortable beds. There's always been wonderful decor. And I think we've got some amazing designers in this country who are out of the box doing some amazing concepts within hotels. And, we've got a lot to look forward to on the horizon, and each hotel is getting better than the next. So that's pretty exciting for us in our country.
And it's certainly very exciting for travellers as well. But another thing we talk about a lot on this show is tech. And one question I wanted to ask you, because we're almost at the point, and we are at the point in Asia at least, where we can have the seamless check-in where there's no people involved, where computers, it's all AI, you scan your credit card, thank you very much, and go, get your key, spat out at you or your key card and go to your room. Do you think this is the way of the future, or do you think human beings want to connect with other human beings, say when they're checking into the hotel?
For us, it's the latter. We've built a brand based on that engagement.
Yes.
People like the human touch. They want to engage. They want to be able to ask questions. They want to be able to navigate their stay. And you can't do that from a keyless solution. In all hotels, it's inherent that technology is not always 100%, and it's constantly changing.
Yes.
And it's hard to keep pace. So from our perspective, we may give guests the choice, down the track, that they can have that seamless, not needing to go to reception to check in like they experience in the airports. But for those that still want that level of human touch and engagement, we'll continue to provide that service and experience for them.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I just, recently traveled through Singapore. It's completely seamless now in Singapore, which is amazing. It's so easy. And I must say, in an airport context, I do like it because it's just easier, particularly in a place like Singapore that's so organized. But, me as well, I enjoy seeing a face when I check into a hotel, especially if I've been traveling long haul and you're tired and you just want something like, can you tell me where X is? I want to ask that person on the spot and not have to get on my phone and Google and get on a computer and find out.
Couldn't agree more. I'm similar. When you travel extensively and you're flying, you definitely just want that quick and easy approach, nice and efficient, board the aircraft, get to your destination. But yeah, in a hotel environment, it's somewhat different, because if you're unfamiliar and you've never stayed at that property before, you've generally got questions to ask, and you like someone to be able to respond to you quickly.
100%. And tell me, Wayne, give us some insider gossip. What's the future of Ovolo Hotels? Have you got any new hotels coming, or what's going to happen in the future for the company?
We are looking to we're looking at our value proposition at the moment. So those perks that you touched on,
Yes.
taking those to another level. So that's a work in progress. So stay tuned.
That's exciting.
We'll be announcing some changes in the new year. Our food and beverage offering will continue to evolve and develop. We are looking to continue down that vegan and vegetarian, but step it up a notch as far as the overall experience. Really leverage off our partners and grow our bar experience as well. You touched on wonderful cocktails. There's some other leading categories that we want to focus on and, give guests a well-rounded experience within our hotels. And we're going to look at, some enhancements. As far as opportunities are concerned, we're pitching for a few great assets at the moment. So I can't divulge too much, but, we are looking to grow the brand over the next few years. We're not going to rush the process. We are looking for the right opportunities in the right destinations. And, we're not only looking here in Australia, but we're very active in Indonesia. We'd love more properties in Asia. And we wouldn't rule out Europe. For the right opportunities in Europe, we'd love to be in that space doing some joint ventures.
Fantastic. Well, I spend a lot of time in Indonesia, and the economic projections there are so strong at the moment. I mean, with 270 million people, it's a phenomenal, economy and destination, isn't it?
It is absolutely, and yeah, it's there's some real excitement within our organisation around our growth strategy and where Ovolo will be in the next few years.
How exciting! And what are your favourite destinations, Wayne? Where do you want to go when when you're not travelling for Ovolo? Where do you choose to go? And is it in luxury?
It is both. So I love luxury. It's ingrained in my DNA.
Yes.
And when I travel, I typically go to Europe. Summer holidays over in Europe, there's nothing better.
Yeah.
I'm an Italian, so I love Italy, and I more recently went to Sicily, which was just incredible.
Wow.
And I love destinations like Greece, but I also like destinations in Asia as well. Thailand. I enjoyed my time in Indonesia, so. There's some amazing resorts, villas, and experiences, and there's still so many destinations I've got to tick off on my bucket list. I'm not quite there yet, but still plenty of time.
Any out-of-the-box experiences that you can share with us? Any particular hotels that you just went, oh my gosh, this is amazing?
I must say, I'm probably the worst person to travel with because I'm watching every move.
Critical. I'm like that too.
every staff member. I'm critiquing the food and the cocktails and the level of service. But for me, two standouts.
Yeah.
It's actually an island resort in Thailand called the Rasha Resort. For
haven't heard
me,
of it.
you go there by a speedboat. It's around 20 villas. They've got one restaurant. It's on a hillside, and it's extraordinary. It was one of the most engaged teams I've ever experienced, from the arrival experience through to in-room to poolside to the dining experience. From start to finish, I couldn't fault them.
The Rasha.
The Rasha, it's called, the Rasha Resort.
And where is it in Thailand?
So it's just off the main island. So it's probably about 20 minutes from, say, Phi Phi Island. So it's one of the islands in close proximity. So definitely put it on your to-do list. It's not cheap, but it's worth every cent.
And it's not often that we hear that. Often people are disappointed when they're paying big money.
That's right. And then the other one for me is actually in Hong Kong, where we've got our hotels. On Hong Kong Island, a property called the Upper House.
Yes.
It's a small boutique property. And I must say, the way that team recognised guests in the hotel, I stayed there for the first time, would have been 18 months ago. I walked into that property, I was recognised, they knew me by name. And then my interactions with all staff, from restaurant staff to bar staff to housekeeping staff, wherever I walked through that property, they would greet me by my name. And it was interesting, as I was departing the hotel, I asked one of the team members, who was one of the porters assisting me with luggage back down to reception, and I said, I must say I'm really impressed by the recognition within this hotel. How does all this staff know my name?
Yes.
And he said, Mr. Taranto, at the Upper House, we just have incredible memories.
I love it. They didn't give away their secrets.
Yeah, so he didn't divulge, but, for me in the industry, and I've since shared this story with all of my staff when we onboard them, that, it's a simple thing just to recognise a guest within the hotel. And within room, I can't forget they have an amazing amenities bag, which you get to keep at the end of your stay. So it's that little treat that you're not expecting. A little card goes in on your final day of your stay saying, this is yours to keep, and we thank you for your stay with us at the Upper House. So for me, two very different properties, but really stood out from a service point of view.
And interesting, they're both in Asia. We talk a lot on this program also about the quality of service and just the amenities and everything in Asia. I think, if I might say that, Southeast Asia at least is having its moment right now in luxury hotels. There's so many new hotels opening. There's so many Europeans going. They've got a real buzz. I mean, I'm going off there for Christmas. I'm really excited. It's just a great part of the world to be in at the moment.
It is, and it's evolving. And it's growing, and it's been growing at a rapid pace for a long period of time. And, we need to take the lead of what we see in Asia and bring that to Australia to draw more international guests into this country and provide a similar experience. Whilst weather conditions are different, but, I would say here in Australia, we've got the best weather in the world. So
no, I know that's true. And if you don't mind me asking, what's the ethnicity of your owner? You said they're in Hong Kong. Are they Chinese or?
Indian.
Right, so, wonderful with the name.
Garesh and some of his family, so some of his brothers are also in the hotel industry. It kind of came later stage in their careers that, you know, they found some wonderful assets that they felt that they could convert. Our first hotel was actually our Laneways by Ovolo, which is in Little Bourke Street in the CBD of Melbourne. Saw that asset, thought this can make a wonderful site for a hotel, and that's where the Ovolo brand created its journey and was born.
How fantastic. And of course, some of the best hoteliers in the world have come out of India. I mean, there's a wonderful story from the Oberoi family. I work a lot with Oberoi, in fact. And here's another Indian family. Isn't that fantastic? And
interestingly, our aspiration and the brand that we always look up to is Oberoi.
There you go. Yeah, they do it well. I've just been in India myself. I've just been in Delhi.
Yeah, they do it exceptionally well. Engagement, the way that they, you know, activate their spaces and their social is just really well done.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, again, next level. And even their bars, everything about their properties is just fabulous. Definitely. Well, before you go, Wayne, I could talk to you all day. You're so interesting and have so much to say. We ask everyone where to from here. You can tell us what you're doing today, where you're going on holidays. So where to from here for you? Where
to from here? Well, it's been a big year for our group, and you know, it's lots of challenges and lots of work's gone into kind of preparing ourselves for next year in 2024. So yes. I'm looking forward to a break. I've recently had a baby, so my third child. So I've got a little baby boy, so he's now 3 months old. Beautiful. So looking forward, we're traveling up to Queensland. We're going to have a nice, close to home, enjoyable break, nice and easy. So really looking forward to some time out, embracing my new little one.
Oh, that's wonderful. Congratulations. I mean, it's been a huge year for everyone, but particularly if you've just had a baby. That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's exciting. You know, I've got 2 other children, a 15-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old son. And I must say, it's like holding my first child. It's no different. So.
Oh, that's beautiful. I know I wouldn't mind having more, but too late for me. But I like traveling too much now.
Yeah, not the travel bug.
But lovely to speak with you. And I'd love to come and see the hotel in Bali. I mean, I'll be there in January. That would be wonderful to have a look.
Reach out and we'll make sure that you're well looked after. Thanks, Renae. Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Don't forget to subscribe here and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for regular travel updates. You can also hear our episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.